And it's Wednesday again. It's like they come around every week. That's so weird. For Trekyards Mission Briefing, your weekly dose of Starship free flow discussion, sort of review, and certainly first look in this episode. So what we're doing today, Stuart, and why?
Today we are doing something from a fan film series. That's well, is it a series?
Fan film web series, yeah.
Web series. Okay, yeah. The Romulan War. If you haven't heard the Romulan War, you need to check it out. We've heard about it a lot over the course of Star Trek canon, but we've never actually got in depth. And this one it really goes in depth, and there's some cool stuff to look at. We've already looked at one ship. Today we're looking at another one, and this is a cool one because this is a bad guy ship. This is a Romulan ship.
Yes. So yeah, support them on Kickstarter or Indiegogo if you want. Links in the description below. And like this disclaimer, I work on this show as a VFX person, so these are my renders, and I work with a team to produce these ships and such. Because they wanted new ships, and so that's cool. And yay, making fun things. So yes, the Romulan Stormbird. First impressions, Stuart, of this new Romulan War era Romulan battleship.
It's awesome.
Okay.
But doesn't fit with the time period.
Okay.
It's very much a Klingon D7 design style behind it, which they didn't have the treaty with the Klingons and get the D7s till 2267, as we know. So I do have a little bit of problem with this, but it does have a lot of Romulan elements. So maybe they saw a Klingon design from the time period, because we knew that in the Enterprise era, the Klingons had ships that looked like this. Romulans spied on them, saw it, designed their own ship, and that would work, I guess. That would be good. So...
Well, they have got some information on the website, which I will read the blurb of, so we get a nice little introduction here.
All right, I'm looking forward to this.
So, Stormbird class, the Trekyards class battleship, was the most heavily armed warship in the Romulan Imperial Navy, capable of warp 6 for short durations. These Stormbirds were bristling with disruptor banks and point defense batteries. It's also heavily shielded and difficult for coalition ships to fatally kill. The Stormbird's biggest threat was its forward anti-proton cannon, which was devastating to both space-based and planetary targets.
That all works. That's all good. It should be said, too, that after the Romulans did get the D7s from the Klingons in 2267, they did rename them V11 Stormbirds. This is a Stormbird, so maybe this was like their attempt at it early on, and then they just, in honor of it, named the new ones that, I guess. I don't know.
So obviously I have been informed about the history of this ship, so it depends if you want me to go into that now or go through design a bit more. But yeah, there was thought put in, so I'm told, and you sort of basically said it, but...
I would say go now and tell us so that we can use that as we go through the rest of the episode.
Okay, so yeah, as you said, very much that we obviously saw the Klingons had at least the theoretical D4, the D5, those designs existed as very familiar. They're obviously in the going to the D7 design, and like you say, the Romulans saw the Klingons as a war force, because if you look at the Romulans design, the design of the time, it's a warbird, it's not a battleship, it's a very alternate design, and so the thought behind it was that they looked at the Klingons as being this warlike race. Let's take the base of what they did, and make a first true battleship, which is what the Romulans weren't known for. And so they took that theme, and then this was then seen to be ultra successful in the Romulan War, which then the Klingons said, let's iterate on our ships and use a bit of that, because they've always had a bit of a look over each other's shoulder at the designs. So this was meant to be the Romulan version but proto, and then the Klingons then liked pieces of it. Obviously the boom being a separate bridge module, more organic curves rather than the point of the D5. And the back module, which the D5 didn't have so much. So it was kind of like, I guess they leapfrogged their styles. But this was not, this was meant to be like the Romulan. But hey, this shape obviously works because the Romulans did it, the Klingons did it, the Romulans wanted it, the Klingons kept with it. So obviously it's a style that works. And as you can see, it is different. It has got different components. The engines are different. The tech's obviously Romulan. And I believe these are original engine designs, which are similar to the Bird of Prey's but more aggressive and bigger. But if you look carefully, the front bit is actually very similar to the Bird of Prey, but obviously tweaked a bit. And there are more influences as we go along. But yeah, how does that all sound?
Very good. It's funny that I just speculated that. It's first time you seeing this ship, guys. Just so you guys know. Yep. And I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and it's totally believable too, because you do spy on your neighbors as far as technology goes, and yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and if the Klingons were doing well in their wars, and then the Romulans were doing well in their war, well, they're going to look at each other and see things. But what do you think about scale? Because when we looked at the Romulan Bird of Prey from Enterprise, the scale was surprising with a real model, and look at it compared to the NX. So this is obviously compared to the NX and such. What do you think? So this is the brand new battlecruiser for the basically the invasion of the Romulan War. What do you think they would scale it with, and how big? And what do you think?
Well, I would hope it wouldn't be much bigger than the NX, but judging by those windows in the front, they are so small. It gives me a sense that the ship's so much bigger. So I'm saying maybe twice the size of an NX. Because those, unless they're just small little portholes.
Yeah.
Anyway, because we usually use windows for scaling. Yeah. That's one of the first things you look at when you're trying to get a sense of scale. So I want to say NX size, but at the same time, judging by those windows, I say it's probably bigger.
Unless, like you say, they're portholey style. But the next picture is the scale.
Oh,
good job.
NX size.
Just a bit bigger, but in different ways, but also sort of smaller in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, that works for me. The Romulans aren't ones for having big windows in their quarters and stuff, so just little portholes or whatever. That's cool.
In terms of a leapfrog over their current technology level, that was kind of fun to be able to work out the scale with them. So they had ideas, but put it in 3D. It's like it is a serious jump from their last ship. So it is a big push, and it was obviously bigger than the NX. And yes, there are deadlifters in the film, also redone like the Yorktown and such. And I thought I'd put that in just to kind of show the old and then the new, kind of on par, but also not.
Very cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
I approve of the size. That's good.
But right, the side view gives you more indication. This it feels bigger, but less volume, but it's a warship, so makes sense.
Yeah, yes, I do see a little bit of an issue though.
Go for it,
if I may. Those windows on the boom section. It looks like there's 2 decks there, but again, that would mean this thing would be massive in size. It could just be that they have weird placement for windows. I mean, if you compare it to the NX windows,
yeah, teeny.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe they're not windows. Maybe they're sensor pinprick palette things. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I see.
Well, I think. I mean, if you look, they're relatively on par with the Romulan scale windows on both ships. Maybe a smidge smaller. I mean, the NX ones aren't. They're portholes, but also they are like, ooh, let's look at the sky. I'm assuming these are like say, little portholes so you look out. I mean, if you look at obviously it was a bridge, but the D7 from that episode which we reviewed. What was that called?
Yesterday's Enterprise.
The one we reviewed for TOS. The
not yesterday. The Enterprise incident. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, there weren't any windows that we saw in the D7. So, and this is obviously whatever they reskinned it, but yeah, I mean, hey, window size. Yeah, bigger yet smaller. But I remember the thought process was that the boom, because the D7 is too thin, was like armor it up, make it thicker, make it stouter, so it's got a different profile, so it's much more because like the Klingons they redistributed it all, to a different vibe. And what do you think about those engines then compared to... Because if you look, there's a third Romulan ship in this fleet. That's another fan... 2 out of 3 fan ones, but that's a well-known fan one that Mark wanted to use because it works so well. What do you think about how the engines evolved from the other one? And I don't know, what do you think?
I see a lot of visual tie-ins, and obviously it's been just flipped upside down. I mean, they seem very bulky and almost not refined enough at the front. They look kind of like play school engines.
They're meant to be. They're meant to be more like Talons.
I like the back part. The front, I think, could have used a little bit of refinement. But other than that, I mean, they're not bad at all. Just not the style I would have probably gone with. I would have sleeked it out a little bit more.
Cool. But the next picture is a back view, and you can see familiar impulse drive. That is a known one, but with the colours of the Enterprise Era one, because they use orange engines apparently.
Again, the wings and the engines look a little too bulbous and rounded for me. Again, looks kind of like a play school vibe. I don't mean that. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see it. But I do like the impulse engines. All the shapes there work for me. Just the wings seem a little bit too bulky.
The wings as well.
Yeah, like the back of the wing there. It's a weird curve in this shot. It just looks odd to me. Personal opinion.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it's one of those things. From a distance, it looks like a D7, and then you look close, it isn't. You know, I'm guessing that was the intention. Well, obviously, it was meant to be a Romulan ship. You know, there's quite a lot of retconning in the brain to try and make this ship work. But it's familiar yet different.
I do like the markings on it too. The feather pattern, very similar to the Deredex that we see in the future.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
very cool.
Which I know there is a little Deredex Easter egg in here, which we'll get to in a different shot. But the next view, I've always liked this because you can kind of tell that unlike the D7, they want to progress it to the future, and so look, there's this like beak design at the bottom, like it's the first bit of beak. I dig that, you know.
Very cool. I do like the triangular shaped, was it anti-proton beam or something?
Yeah, it's a big beam gun.
Very cool. The problem is, it looks like a clown wearing Geordie's visor with a big smile on its face. It's got a big triangular shaped mouth like Ronald McDonald and big nose and then the visor. That's what I see. I didn't see it at first until you started talking, and then you could see my face. I started to laugh. It's fine. It's just, now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it, unfortunately.
Well, I hope there's another view that won't be as visible.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of see it. It's weird how things make you go crazy. The next view is a kind of top view.
Yeah. This view, mwah, beautiful.
Yeah, I really dig that bridge detail. It's like it's there and it's subtle, but it implies something, you know? Like where's the bridge bit? There, you know, but it's good, I think.
Yeah. No, this view I really like. Everything about this proportionally now looks good from this view. The wings don't look too bulbous. They don't look too thick. The same with the nacelles. They're very sleek. I think they need to be more sleek from this side. But from the top, they look perfect, bang on. The boom isn't too long. I mean, it's a great mixture of shapes for this top view.
And you can tell, like, the wings are, because the D7 are way more like duh.
Yeah.
But this is obviously the curves, like the other Romulan ship. It's all about curves, so give it that different profile design. Is there a close up of that? Yeah, we'll wait for that. So the next view is the engines. I like the grill. I don't know what that grilling does on the side, but I like it. I'm assuming it's meant to be some sort of heat vent thing. Kind of adds a detail there. Like I say, it was told to me it's meant to be like a Talon, so I do see that. But it needs like plating. It needs like something else there to make it feel functional.
Yeah. Or even just that forward curve on the bottom. Even if you just angled that more, so more to a straight line, I think it would make it a little bit more aggressive looking. It just seems a little too child friendly, being all round and no sharp edges.
It's like a dinosaur tooth, like a herbivore. Like it doesn't quite have the right punch, but
yeah. No, it's not a bad looking design. I just thought I would have done a little bit more refinement to it, personally. Next, oh yeah, see this next shot. It does. I don't get the clown face. That's good.
Yeah,
it does look very Centurion or almost Spartan helmet like with the way that goes down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that works well for the Romulans because the way their culture was, it was based on the Romans and stuff.
To hide the lack of makeup, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like one of the helmets that you'd see. So that's really cool. I really like that.
First time I've thought that, but yeah. And I like that because the weapon, like, the D7 obviously is just this big, bulbous hole. But this is kind of cool because actually, if you think about it, it's like a Romulus symbol. The triangle, but like an alternate thing. So there's like, thought there. And there's a couple of shots I've done that they're pretty meaty. Like this is like the mass driver big cannon that
Cool. Oh, see that detail I like. The next one is the Enterprise Aero bird on the bottom. This was originally supposed to be on the Bird of Praise or the warbirds that we saw in Enterprise.
John did design it.
Johnny's designed it, but it was taken off and removed last minute, which is a shame. I love the addition of that on here. I mean, that should be on all Romulan ships, in my opinion. But yes, awesome.
And it links into the TOS because obviously this is the later ship of the fleet.
Yeah.
And what do you think? I've been told that those details, because there's not that much detail in the ship. It's not like it's simpler than the other one, than Yorktown that we looked at last week. There's going to be escape pods either side of the engine or something, I assume.
That works for me, and that's exactly what I would have assumed they are.
Okay.
Unless they were small antimatter ejection.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah, I was trying to wonder, like, is there something cleverer for them?
And everybody's going to say, no, they have a quantum singularity drive. No, they didn't. Not in this time period. Sorry, guys. That didn't develop until the Lost era, during Enterprise C era. That's when they came up with the quantum drive. We need to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
We need to do an episode on that because they did not have it in TOS. Everybody's been screaming at me on the forums when I bring that up, but whatever.
If they did, they probably would have had warp for their bird of prey because a lot of power.
You know that warbird from that Balance of Terror? The reason it looks so different than other Romulan ships, even the Enterprise ones, is because it was stolen Federation plans for one of their experimental ships. So the Romulans used a Federation design for that. That's why it looks the Federation hull coating and everything.
That's why I couldn't recognize that. Yeah.
Well, that's the reasoning. I had to point that out too.
Yeah, I buy that. Which is fun that then this is meant to be the, we like what the Klingons were doing. They like taking from other. I mean, think about it. If they've had cloaks for as long as it's implied they have, they can just wander out to Kronos and just sit for a bit with their binoculars. Like, oh, Telepraetor, that's a cool ship. Tell them.
We can't run sensor scans and scan it because they'll see us. So we get a pencil and paper and draw it.
That's why it looks so wrong, because it's like a wrongly proportioned.
It's close enough. Here you go.
Yeah.
And then my kid took it and drew over it with crayons. That's why the engines and the cells look like they do.
Yes.
But anyway, just went back to Warbird for a second. That design actually became the Peregrine that we did an episode on. I don't know if we released it yet, though. The Federation ship that looks very much like the Romulan Warbird.
With the Reliant middle.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Have we released that?
No, we haven't still, because there's audio issues. If you want to go back to shot 3, or numbered 3 at the top, the top view that you liked, can you work out what the Dederadek Easter egg details are?
No.
Okay, well then go to shot 7. That there's a middle little slice in the middle of this middle, and that's the torpedo launcher. The Deradex it was too. It was meant to be. So there's a slice there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha, on the top. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see. Very nice.
It's like a tank. It's got like an aft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Well, actually, I forgot the word. It's not a direct link, but if you look either side of the impulse unit, there's these little sticky outy details, which are all over the ship if you scroll through other angles. They're on the Enterprise era Bird of Prey, and I'm assuming, I think, well, they're meant to be weapons. So there's no visible weapons that are like phasers on that ship. So it's the one details on that, on the Bird of Prey, the Enterprise one. So put them here as like the point defense. Because on the Derex has those little actual balls that are all over. So this is meant to be the same equivalent. Little lower yield phaser emitters throughout the ship, all over the ship.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything links. Next picture 8. Again, just a sort of bottom view, kind of shows all the shapes put together. What do you think?
This angle works for me too. I mean, this looks good. Those engines look good in this one. The angle of the struts, and here they don't look too thick either. I don't know if it was just an optical illusion with that last one.
Yeah.
But from the back, it looked very bulky and bulbous, and this one looks much better. Much better. Yeah.
Yeah. It like I said, I've worked with these for a while, so I can't really give a real first impression. I've talked about these things for a while internally, but yeah, I think it's a cool design because it's like, does it make sense? And once you accept it, it kind of does make sense as being where it is in the timeline. And the next picture I did, because I was like, well, it's actually what you want to see on the Yorktown, ironically. Is that aggressive? Does that make you want to die? In a good way.
I see the clown again. Just paint that center thing red and the lips red, and then just add 2 eyes, or make it.
Photoshop really challenge. Friends of Trekyards. Help Stuart out.
There you go. Now, what are I take it those things are weapons on the leading edge of the wings there?
Those are disruptor turrets. Yeah, those the disruptor cannons. The ones that are on the middle of the Bird of Prey in Enterprise. So they're just double of them and in the wings, like the D7, but we never knew where they were. So 2 on the leading edges kind of makes sense. So it's a pretty heavily armed ship. Again, like Yorktown, this came out first. Yorktown was obviously, I'm sure it was up-armed based on this, but this one is more about having, a strong disruptor presence, get you in close, then boom, that beam is just going to blow you the hell up. The whole ship, I'm assuming, is built around that beam. It's probably, if you go to the next picture, it's probably why the boom is thicker to allow power conduits and stuff, direct from the reactor. I'm assuming it all kind of links together. Assuming it does.
Yeah, and I would assume too that the Yorktown that we looked at last week is the one that came after this. That this was built first, because this is the same size as the NX.
It's a bit bigger.
The Yorktown is quite a bit. Well, the saucer is the same, but it's quite a bit longer, and it's almost like the Vorcha from Next Gen or TNG. There's the Vorcha, and then the Galaxy is so much bigger in comparison, and then they come with the Negvar. They're always playing that jumping jack game of sizing for ships. So
yes, like it was big compared to our ships, a big compared to the NX, sort of, and they built one bigger.
And then the Romulan just got sick of people building things bigger, so they just built the Deredex, and
that'll
hold us over for at least 200 years. They won't be making anything that big for a while.
And then they were like, let's build one that's the longest ship ever, because the wingspan is ridiculous on a Valdor, or Nurixon, It's actually crazy when you scale it. It's really ridiculously long. So we'll see what your closing thoughts on this design then. What was it called? It was a cool Romulan name. The Raketh. Well, yes, Stormbird, the Raketh class battle ship.
Very cool. I love the history there, the design influences from the Klingons. I love that tie-in, and I think that's something that we would do. I mean, we do that in today's society. We see an enemy's tank, and we base our technology off that tank or the fighter jet. So that's very cool, and I think that does make it fit. Otherwise, it doesn't work, but the way they explained it really makes sense in this context. So I think that's great, and I think that was a fantastic idea. I really like seeing this. And
how do the engines look on this view? They look
fine. They look fine, yeah. On this view, they look really good. But yeah, I think it's a great looking ship, and I can see it more being a TNG era ship though, with these shapes and things.
Okay.
I would say would work well as a Klingon or Romulan ship in TNG era for sure. So,
or the first hybrid. I mean, would this have worked? You think as like a post TOS, like if this had been the Romulan version, like they stripped down the D7 bits they didn't like and rebuilt?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just make it slightly whiter or grayier, some sort of weird hybrid color
It'll
scheme.
probably be
wise.
green because we know that in TNG or in Enterprise they had the green ones, right?
But
The
it would
only
be
reason it was white in Balance of Terror was because it's a Federation design.
Although I think it would be kind of interesting if you like, so you look at the raised plating, make that still the green, but like the grey and the lower color the green, so it has like that grey paint scheme with the D7, but like a weird combo, like they kept the armor but repainted the hull or other way around. Yeah, final thoughts. Yeah, I like it. It's kind of more near and dear to my heart a little bit because Stuart, I actually designed her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just kidding. No, that's good.
Reveal.
Yeah, see, as I said, guys, first time he's seen it, I didn't even know about this, that he had done this, so I'm sorry for saying your engines suck.
Thanks, man.
You should have consulted with me. I could have helped you. You never tell me anything, so I'm hearing I got lots of good input, but no one talks to me.
No, it was a collab with Nick, the modeler for it. I mean, I designed it, I had the concept, but the nacelles were sort of half him, half me. I like the idea of them being the claws, having that overreach. Yeah, they're a bit big. Again, the detail was kind of all over the place here. Some bits are really high detail, some bits are medium, and I actually had to retexture it with higher texturing. But yeah, the brief I got originally was, we want the Stormbird. Here's the model. Open. That's a D7. Yeah, we want to use that. We're not using that. Yeah, we want to use that. I'm like, we can't use that. We're not being Enterprise. We're not being stupid. You can't have a D7 be 100 years earlier and be Romulan. Fine, I'll design a ship instead. But it has to be a D7 still. So this is my take on how do I make a Romulan pre-TOS D7 design.
Well, good job.
Thank you.
Chime in the comments. Should he have consulted with Captain Foley about some design inputs? I think he should have. But he never tells me anything until the last minute. So
this was a fun surprise. It's like,
it is a fun surprise, but at the same time, I have a great idea for a nacelle that would look like a claw. I could send it to you now. I could draw it up real quick.
Do it. Have a refit for the last battle. Believe me, this war takes a while. Seriously, do that. It'd be fun to have a refit version. No, I was excited to say, like, I designed it and hear honest review because I wouldn't get an honest review otherwise.
Whatever. I always tell you my honest thoughts.
Oh, it's funny. But yeah, so tune in to the Romulan War, the web series. Help the Indiegogo if you want to see this ship fly. I was very proud to be able to deliver the new villain ship, and the Octane from last week was a great fan design that we managed to tweak. So it is actually two new powers, not just Bird of Prey versus NX. It is two distinct things clashing, and famous styles yet not. So if you want to support them, please do. If you just like these sorts of designs, there's a lot more of this thought that's gone into it. And well done, Stuart, for picking up on the pretty basic rationale. It has to be retcon to make sense, obviously. But yeah, you were like, yep, that was the thought process that I was forced to do.
That works, though. So anyway, guys, put your comments below. What do you think of it? Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And check out all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Check them out. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. And head on over to our Patreon. Click link in the description below. Help us out on a monthly basis if you can. Or head on over to trekyards.com. Click the donate button. That also helps us out.
But guys, not just that. Just like I said, sharing. Because seriously, sharing the freeway is really important. Because the more people that know about us, the more would want to watch it. We have a lot of great content that spans over 300 shows, 24 guests, and more. We've got more coming. It's always worth a look. So if you can, please just share and just keep tuning in, because subscribing is a big deal too.
Sharing is caring, guys. So until next time, I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Kongs. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.